Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Zach Livestream. We are on episode number 011, number 11. I had a typo in my little splash title thing there. It still said episode 10, but that's okay. We all know it's 11. Just getting started off, I kind of want to jump right into things because there's a lot I'd love to try to get done today. But looking at what we did yesterday really quick. We're looking at testing some more. We had our Cypress tests so that they were kind of, I think I used the word like an immutable test. So we left things in the same state as we when we ran them, we cleared things out. So we're left in the same state we started in. And we wrote some more Marble tests, and I think we got our auth effects to 100% test coverage. We got our Cypress stuff all set up using different environments and stuff, so we could still have our sort of development, our development environment versus the test that would just clobber everything each time. So today, I want to kind of take all that we have and kind of build on top of that. See if we can't do a little test-driven development today to bring in the concept of friends. So the idea is right now we have a user that can log in, they can see all their own content posts, but there's no concept yet inside of our app of there being other users. So we're going to try to do that. So we're going to start with test-driven development today. Let's arrow this. And I want to start, so we really want to add some more seeds to, we want to add a new seed task to our plugin. So let's go ahead and jump into that. I'm going to make this a little smaller. Looks good. And we'll look at our end-to-end stuff. Into plugins. I'm going to make a new directory here. We'll call this new folder. We'll call this just seed. Well, let's just call it. Let's call it tasks. Yeah. So and let's move our index.js over here, and we'll make a new file inside of here. We'll call this reset db ts. So the idea here is we're just going to take some of these things. So we're going to export async function. So let's do this. Async function reset. Well, I can just paste this in now. Oops. There we go. Get function in here. And let's have here our Mongo file, mongo.ts. We're going to take this, drop it in here, and go. Actually, let's make these JavaScript things. There we go. So there's been some new stuff with Cypress recently, I think, where we could probably make these TypeScript files. But for now, I'm just going to leave them as JS, so we don't have to kind of figure all that stuff out. So let's see if we can import our Mongo in here. Go. And we're going to export this function. There we go. Okay. And now in here, you can just have setDB, I believe. We can just import that. And we'll say import setDB from /tasks/ go. I think that'll work. We'll find out. So we'll have resetDB there. Let's make a new task here, and we'll call this add test user.js. Move it over here. Let's kind of do the same thing real quick. And so we'll export async function and import our Mongo. That should be all we need. Here we can have test user. Go. And so now we're going to make a new file in here. So we'll say seeding for friends test. Go. So over here we'll export an async function called seeding for friends test. And we will actually first start off by awaiting add test user. So we still want our test user in here, but then we're going to come in and we're going to say Mongo collection users dot insert one. We're going to give it a name of our test friend. Username will be test friend. Let's make that capital so we can see there's some difference between that and the name. And password, we'll just make it password. Doesn't really matter for the purposes of this test, but so we'll await that. I think maybe inserted ID. Okay, we'll need this. So we'll say our friend ID is equal to this constant non-friend ID equals this other one here. So this will be test non-friend. Username is not a friend, I guess. Password is password. Cool. So now we have we've added a friend to the database. We've got their ID. We've added a non-friend. We've added their ID. Next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to await mongo.collection dot well, we're going to want to introduce the concept of a new collection here. So we're going to call one called friendships. And the idea is, let's just insert one on here. The idea is we'll have some sort of requester, which will be, we'll actually need, maybe we won't do this, let's see. Let's just grab this here. We're actually just going to paste that here. And we'll do similar to what we did. Let's wrap this. We'll say constant user ID equals this. We're going to want to get their inserted ID. There. So now we can make our requester the user ID. We can make the requestee our friend ID, and we can say accepted is true. So the idea here is this collection is going to pretty much hold all of our friendship relationships. So anytime a user is a friend with someone else, we'll kind of add it in here. So we won't get to this part today, I don't think. But we will eventually get to like requesting adding a friend and accepting a friend request and that kind of stuff. So that's where like the requester and the requestee comes into play. So we'll pretty much, like thinking ahead a little bit, we're going to want to at some point create some middleware on our back end, so that we can, like something that we can use for our content posts, for example, where we'll just put in some middleware to add to the request context all the friends that a certain user has. And so the way we'll figure out who all of that person's friends are is we'll check this friendships collection. We'll see any document inside this friendships collection where the user that we've authorized is either the requester or the requestee, and the accepted has been, and the accepted field is true. So for this one, we're just adding in our user ID and a friend ID and making it true so that we can establish the friendship between the user and the friend. And then a couple last things. We're going to also take our Mongo collection and take our content posts. We're going to insert one. What did our content posts look like? Let's find out. This is our content post utils. Let's open up our models here real quick. Insert one. We're going to do, okay, so it needs an idea content. We'll say this should be visible, because this is going to be the one from our friend. Author ID is going to be our friend ID, and the created, I don't know, we'll just use new date to make it for now. Go. So we'll do that. I'm going to say this should also be visible, because we're going to make this one from the actual user ID. And then we'll have one final one that says this should not be visible. And this is going to be from our non-friends ID. There you go. So I think this pretty much will do it. Let's see if we can stub out a test really quick. So we're going to jump into our, I think it's in our integration file. So our app.spec.ts. So we're going to create a new test here. So log in and create post. Log in. So this will be log in and see only friend posts. So we'll have, we need to add this to our tasks still. So here we'll have, what did we call this? Seeding for friends test. Seeding for friends test. And we'll just import that real quick. Oops, from tasks. Seeding for friends task. There we go. And here can. So we'll still visit the. Still visit this route. We'll make sure we actually get the title. Inside of here, we're using the same test user to log in, so this should all holds true. Eventually, we might want to do a Cypress command for this, because this is something we're going to reuse a bit, is signing in. I won't do that today, just because I want to try to hit at least all the other stuff we're going to try to do. But we'll leave that here. Once they're logged in, we'll try to make sure that we can see their name, the user's name in the H2. But when we get here, this is when we'll kind of stop. So we should see inside of the pre here. Let's see, what did we actually see that with? So we should see it should contain this should, well, this is underscore. This should be visible. So we should see our friends ones. We should see, this should also be visible. And we need like a not here. I think, whoops. I think we can just do something like this. I think just like that. No, I don't think so. Let me Google that real quick. Cypress, how to check that element does not contain text. So just Googling test if element. Do I just need that not? Let's see. Get not. No, I don't think that's right. Let's go back to the results. Maybe it's in contains. Okay. And anything for not here? Not notes. Oh, okay. So this, we could just get our pre. Then I wonder if we can do something like with this. Like should not contain that. Let's see if we can find that. Cypress should not text. Wonder if there's maybe a better way of doing this too as I'm looking through this. I think I've probably I wonder if I can just get, so at this point I've got the element, right? What does this look like? Can I just get like text content off of this? And let's see. Let's go back to the docs for contains there. Let's see. Or no, it was actually get, right? Yeah, get. So let's see. What is get? Get form within. Get. What does it give us exactly? Get selector, querying behavior. Okay, but yields the elias of the list, yields the DOM elements it found. Okay, so just for now, let's just console.log this. I guess we won't get a well, let's at least make sure we have these two. Kind of won't have the bad case in here, but I'm blanking on how you would figure that out. But this, I think this is a decent enough setup. Let's let's go to our markdown file. Kind of did all this stuff, added this, seeds to add other users, a friendship between user and a friend, and add content posts, write a test. Yeah. Okay. And we can maybe do something here with the contains or the pre. We maybe put like the exact text. That way we can make sure. No, we shouldn't see that other one. But yeah. Let's move on to the front end. So let's start. We're going to generate here a Angular lib. We'll use the narwhal one. And we're going to call this, I think we probably, yeah, we'll call it friends. Let's do that. Friends, styles SCSS, directory. I think we're just going to put this in to our front end directory for now. Still like to adjust these at some point down the road, but front end, yeah, I think it goes well inside of that. There we go. So we'll call this friends. Or no, not friends, front end. So that should be lib slash front end slash friends. Yep. Making sure I don't need any of these things. I don't believe I do. No tags yet. Let's go ahead and run that. So we've created our feature module. Boom. Let's create our Friendlist component. And let's see. So we're going to go and generate a new component. We're going to call this our friend list. Well, actually, before I generate this, let's go into our workspace.json. Just go down to this project we just made. I'm just going to adjust the prefix because this is specific to our circle at this point. So we'll hit save there. And now for the name of this should be front end friends. Module should be able to figure that out itself. And I don't think we need, oh, we do want to export this because we want to just stick this into the app component for now, I think. Cool. So let's go ahead and run that. Let's see what we came up with here. So we'll have our friends list. Let's go to that. And let's go over here. All right, so we're going to say we have some friends. And this is going to be an observable. I think it's probably just an observable of users. Let's see if we can look at that. This will probably be from auth still for now. Might need to change this up a bit. If we go to auth utils, we go to the user interface. Yeah, that kind of gets us all we need. Let's just call this a user, observable type user. Let's import that. Import user from Zach livestream auth utils. Go. Well, actually, we want to import this from the other thing I think we said. Where did we want to import this from? It's our circle NGRX utils. Oh no, yeah, we do want to keep it from here, from the auth utils. That makes sense. Oops, have an extra Zach livestream. Weird how that happens. Anyways, so we'll have our friends here. We'll call So this will be inside of like an R circle friend list. We'll say, oh man, it would be really cool to use the RX let right now, but we'll do this. So this actually needs to be an observable of a user array. So we'll say, let's say right now we just have an unordered list. We'll say ngIf equals friends type async as friends. So what this will do is, as long as friends type to async evaluates as truthy, we'll subscribe to this. This is sort of the syntax for subscribing to this via the template, and we'll store it inside like this templates context as this friends variable. So now I kind of subscribe to it. I've already gotten it. You can think of everything inside of these UL tags being now like inside the subscription. So now here I can do ng4, and I can say let friend of friends. We'll have for now, we'll just put the friend.name here. So let's do this. Let's go back to that app spec we wrote. We'll also, so we can look at the pre's, and let's put just a to-do here. Make sure the pre does not contain. This should not be visible. All right, but we're going to do side.get, and we're just going to call this R circle friend list dot contains. So here we should see our friend's name, and what did we make that as? Let's look at the where we seeded it. We should only see test friend in here. Right. So if we do, maybe if we did like this, so the first child of this, of our unordered list, of our li contains test friend. There you go. I think that should work. Okay, do something with this. So the first UL children I don't know. Let's just leave it as that for now, and we'll make this will be the same problem here. To do make sure the friend list does not contain our test non-friend. There you go. Alrighty. So we've got that kind of set up. We have, so let's go ahead and inject the store. Going to need to, let's actually bring in here first. So we're going to need to import the store module, store module from ngrx store for feature. We'll call this friends. Let's put an empty reducer in there for now. I think that makes sense. And here we can just inject the store. So, and we'll say this is equal to this dot store dot pipe select, and this will need to, we'll need to create this here. So let's just put create this still. So yeah, this will kind of, as soon as we have our selector for our friends, we'll need to create like a friend selector. We should be good to go here. I'm trying to think what we're going to want to do. So if we look at if we think about our store right now, our state, we sort of we have our auth information, we have our content post information. We need to have some more user information here. So I'm almost thinking we should just do that. Let's rename this feature here. Let's call it users. And let's add a new folder here. We'll call it state, and we'll add a new file. I think we may just need a reducer here. I'm not sure, but let's have. So this will be our user.reducer.ts. So we'll say constant reducer equals create reducer. And so we'll want this to be like the entity state. Let's look at how we did the entity state for our content posts. I think we actually did this at like some lower level, didn't we? Yeah, we did it in our circle. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So here we go. This is the adapter, content post, create entity adapter. So then we create our initial state right here. Let's copy this pattern, make things consistent. So we'll say, we'll call this users.adapter.ts. Let's move this over here. We're going to export constant users entity adapter, create entity adapter for users, user, I guess, singular, and select ID, user.id. There we go. And we're going to export constant users. Whoops. Oh, what did I do there? Some combination of keys. Export users initial state is an entity state of user equals users entity adapter dot initial, get initial state. That makes sense. So this will just be a way we can sort of dump our users in here. We can even dump in our logged in user. So we can look at that here in a bit. But we have now the users adapter. I'm thinking, do we want to make any actions for the user? Yeah, I think we do. Let's create a new file here called users.actions.ts, and here let's see. I think we might have covered this in the markdown file. Add Friendlist components. We kind of did this. Create a service. We haven't done this. We're kind of right on this task now. I jumped ahead a little bit. Oh, not done. Let's say we're on this one. So we're going to export get friends, let's call it, equals, and this needs to be a constant. And this is going to be a create action. I don't even know if we need this action actually. Probably don't. We probably just can do this, hook this off of whenever a user logs in successfully. Let's do that. So let's get rid of this one. but let's say we do want to have constant friends retrieved. Export constant friends retrieved. Create action. We'll call this like the friends API. Get friends succeeded. And this will come with some props. Those props will look like, what will they look like? I guess just like friends is a user array. Right? If that makes sense. We'll need our users. Whoops. Go. Okay, export const friends. Let's do it this way. Retrieve friends succeeded. We'll call this retrieve friends failed. Create action. Let's call this friends API. Get friends failed. I don't think we'll need anything with that. Let's just leave it like that for now. So I think if we think about this, this makes sense. Let's go into our state. Let's add something here. So we're going to call this user.effects.ts. Let's do that. We'll say export class user effects. There we go. And we're going to want to make this injectable. There we go. And we're going to want to say structure private actions. Let's inject our actions here. We might not have that yet. Import actions from grx effects. There you go. So now we'll have our action stream, and we'll have this. So we'll say get friends after logging in, create effect. Let's actually do it. Let's do it this way. I think it won't complain about this anymore. Let's say return this dot actions dot pipe. We'll use of type, and we'll use, what did we want here? Let's look at the there's something like login succeeded. Might not have access to that. Let's see if we can import. Well, let's just look at our auth stuff. So if we look at front end, our auth ngrx utils. Let's look at the actions here. We'll want to look at this one. So login succeeded. Import login succeeded. But we won't want to get it from here. We'll get it from the Zach live stream. Hey Brandon. Nice to see you, sir. I was just talking about a scenario where I could have really used ngrx let, the new structural directive. That looks really cool. I just used ngIf instead. But let's see. I'm trying to get this from our ngrx utils bucket. Go. So I am returning this. So I want to What I'm wanting to do is every time I have a login success, I'm going to want to go out and get my friends. That's kind of where I'm at right now. Let me switch map here. Excuse me. Import this from our operators. Switch map. Our XJS operators. There we go. Switch map. Kind of doesn't matter. I think we get the user back from that action, but it kind of doesn't matter. We'll need to make our service here, like our friend service. So let's just call this right now friend service is a friend service. Not created yet, but we'll get to that in a little bit. We'll just say this dot friend service dot get friends. Right? And we'll say for now we'll just type check this as an observable of user array. Some spam in chat. I got one of these yesterday. Can I just ban like this? Let's see. Banned. Okay. I learned something new today. Ban that user. Fun times. All right, so we have our get friends, switch map to that. Let's kind of encapsulate this in so I can just pipe from here to say, let's map, let's say we got our users. We're going to map that to, oh, it doesn't like that, there you go. Map our users to this success action we just made for our users. So we'll pipe that to retrieve friends. Oh, may need to import this. No, it should just be in here, right? From retrieve friends. Oh, I think I did export this from the barrel yet. That's probably the problem. Let's just do like this. Users, actions, users adapter. There we go. Now we should be able to see that. Friends is users, I think. Oh, this needs to be like that. Okay, that looks good. And we'll catch errors to say of our retrieve friends failed. Right, and it doesn't like this for some reason. User required and type user. Let's see. What is that complaining about? I'm not sure. If we look at our friend succeeded, friend should be that. Okay. A bunch of messages on my phone. Let me turn that off. There we go. What is it exactly saying? Observable of unknown is not assignable to type user. What is that complaining about? Am I missing an operator somewhere? No. Observable. So this user's not sure. Not sure what this is about. Let me go ahead. Go ahead and make our friend service right now. Maybe that has something to do with it. Let's go ahead and generate a new service. We'll call this the friends. I guess we'll just call it friends actually, and we'll call this the front end friends. And let's see if this works. Yep, let's run it. Friend service. Let's go ahead and now inject this properly, like so. A friend service is going to have private HTTP client is HTTP client import HTTP client from Angular common slash HTTP. There we go. And we're going to say here, this is called get friends. Turns an observable of a user array. So this is in here. Say return this .http client .get. Get is going to be type user array. And we'll say our URL is API/friends. I think that's all we'll make it as. We haven't made this yet, so this ain't going to work quite right, but I think that's all we really need. So if we get rid of this now, it's not right. That's not right at all. Let's see. I'm going to go to friend service.getFriends.pipe. If I make something here, got too many there. Oh, I was missing of. Okay, okay. I think we're good now. Switch map. I think I need another one outside of this to close the pipe. There we go. Sweet. So I think this gets us set up so we'll, as soon as we succeed a login, we'll try to go out and get our friends. So by here, we'll have our access token all set up. So we should be able to get our friends. If we get our friends successfully, we're going to dispatch this event. We still need to get this inside of our reducer here. We'll finish creating our reducer, but we'll have the entity adapter. We'll pretty much just stick the users that we get back into the entity store here. So we'll say this is equal to the users entity adapter dot get initial state. I think we actually exported this, didn't we? Users initial state. Yeah, there we go. And then we'll have a bunch of ons. So our first on will be, let's make sure we get the right one. On retrieve friends succeeded. We'll have our state and our, I think we call this friends, right? Let's see. If we open this up, we'll move it over here. Yeah, friends, which is so we'll want to take our users entity adapter. We're going to want to, we'll probably want to upsert many with our friends, right? And we'll also need to pass in that state. Go. I think that's all we really need. When our retrieve friends fails, we'll probably want to handle that. Eventually, probably we'll just do inside of our effects though. Maybe we'll do something inside the effects where make a modal pop up or something like that. So yeah, it's not lost, but we don't, I don't think we need to stick that into the reducer here. So let's go into here. Inside of our module, we'll register that reducer. Let's import it. Import reducer from state slash. What isn't it like about this? Oh, it's not exported. There you go. There we go. Okay. I think this pretty much gets us to where we want to be. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think so. I think this is pretty good. Oh, excuse me. That's right. We'll still need to do this. Let's go ahead and make a new file. We'll call this the users.selectors.ts. Let's just look at, I want to have this, I always like having something side by side that's comparable. So we'll say export const users state. We'll create feature selector for users. And we're going to export const select friends. Let's create selector. And we're going to get here, we're going to get a couple things. I think we're going to get our users state. But we're also want to get our auth. What do we call it? Where's my auth selectors at? They have their own little bucket here because we made them reusable. Auth selectors. Let's move it down here. Select login user. Let's just use that one for now. Select logged in user. Like so. There you go. And we're going to say between our users state. That's shadowed. Yeah, let me just format this so I can think about it better. So this will be our users entity state, and this will be our logged in user. Pretty much what I'm trying to do here is I want to get our, so we're going to start with our users entity state, and we're going to get, well actually, let's do this. I'm going to want to do something like this. So this will be, instead of select all post load, we'll call it select all users. Start with the users state, and we'll get the user entity adapter to select all. All right, so this will give us an array of all of our users. Let's assume that our actual user is in there, so we don't want them to be in our friends selector. So in here, I'll say, we got our, well, we don't need the entity state. We just need the select all users. So here it will be all users. And here's our logged in user. We'll say here, all users dot filter user dot ID is equal to logged in user dot ID. Actually, I always get this mixed up. Filter, I think, is misleading this way because it's probably purposely ambiguous whether the predicate should return true or false. I think it needs to return false here because we want to make sure the user that we're trying to filter out does not have, yeah. So if it makes it through the filter, I think that should return true. So I think that would work. Let's go back to our component here. And where did that component go? Let's look at this, our friendlist component.ts. Let's go there. So here we're just select our friends. And I think that's not going to work because we're not exporting this from the barrel yet. Let's do that. Boom. Is dot selectors. There we go. We should have our friend list now. Let's get rid of some extra stuff. I think that looks good. I think that's everything we really need to do on the client side. We're getting really low on time. I'm going to try to jump into the API and see how far we can get. Because I don't think there's all that much to do on the API side. Create service. We did this. We did all the NGRX slice. This was like 80% of the work right here. That's okay. Let's just start getting through this. If we get lost, if we get stuck somewhere, I'm just gonna end it there and we can pick this up tomorrow. But let's start by generating a Node Lib. We're going to call this, trying to decide whether I want to call this friends or users. I probably want to call this friends. Let's call it friends for now. We can always use move to change that. We'll put this in backend. Not going to click that, not going to click that. Not going to click any of these. That looks good. Let's make sure, because I've been bitten by this before. I want it to go in lib/backend, so I just want to be alongside these. Yeah, I think that looks right. All right, so let's do that. Let's hit run. Should see it. There it is. Okay, and this is going to be very similar to auth. So I'm going to look at this stuff right here. Let's just put the main. Let's put the router over on this side. Let's close out some windows. And let's start by making a friends router. Is that on the list? Let's see. Module router. Yeah, that's the first thing on the list. Okay. Let's move this back up here. Focus the router. There it is. All right. So we'll make inside of our backend friends lib. Let's clear these out. Delete. And here, make a new file. We'll call this the router. So we'll export const router equals express dot router. Let's use these things here. I don't think we'll actually need body parser in this one. Won't need any of these, obviously. I think I actually will need authorize, but that's okay. Okay, so now we could probably use authorize at some higher level. But we'll have router. Right now we just have the .get friends. Let's make sure these match up. I like friends here. Actually, no. Let's just have that get at the root. We'll call this friends at the higher router. So let's go to what do we call it? The friends service. API/friends. Yeah, I think that's right. Let's just stick the backslash in there. I think that's all we need. Get this. We'll have get friends. Let's go make that now. So we'll new file. Get friends. ts for const is a request handler is a request is a response, and we're going to handle this. So I'm actually thinking maybe now, do we need, let's look at the MD file. We do need some middleware for this to add friends for user to the request conference. Let's start with that actually. Let's start with that. Because I think we'll want to use that here as well as using it in the contest post. So let's call this one here. So we'll make a new file. We'll call this like attach friends. I think that's good. Attach friends. So we'll say const attach friends. So request handler. We have a request, a response, and a next. So go. So let's assume that we've already run this through authorize. So we already have constant user equals request dot user as user. Let's say request as user. This is actually a Mongo user, right? User. All right. Gotta get this in. Let's import that explicitly. Mongo user from Zach. This was just an auth utils, right? That worked. I don't know. It's clearly there. Let's try restarting. I think we had some issues with that. But now if I look at, okay, yeah. So here we go. So this is the stuff we'd be getting back from the user. Really don't need that password on here. That's a whole other thing though. What isn't it like about this? Conversion. Maybe a mistake. Let's just say, let's do this. Any as Mongo user. Yeah, there we go. All right, so now we've got we know what our user is because it's already attached to the request context, but we're going to want to attach their friends as well. So we're going to say, looking at our database, if we go to Mongo, let's actually add here. How do we want to do this? There's like the libs, and there's the auth utils, there's a content post utils. Let's just make real quick, we'll generate a lib here. We'll just make a workspace lib. We're going to call this the friendship utils. I think that looks right. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's fine enough. Import path, and there's the formatting, all this mess. I think that's all we need. Libs friendship utils. Yeah, let's run it. So I just want to, at the very least, I want to have sort of just a model. This is going to export. Let's rename this to models, and this is models. It's not exporting anything, so I'll just fix that. Export interface friendship. So let's actually call this type friendship equals with ID import that ID from Mongo. And this will be, so we have a request store. Is that how I did it in the other script? Let's see. Seeding for friends. Yeah. So here in our friendships, I just want to model what each one of these docs are going to look like. Requester with an ER. It's going to be a, what is this called? An object ID. We're going to have a requestee. It's going to be an object ID. We're going to have an accepted, which is going to be a Boolean. There we go. Let's actually call this Mongo friendship. So outside of the Mongo context, I don't think it makes sense to really have like the concept of friendship won't trickle down all the way to the client. The client is, if they have a user, I think they can just assume they're friends. That's how we'll leave it for now. So going back to our friends thing here, so we're going to import our Mongo friendship from @Zach live stream. I think I'll probably have to restart the TypeScript server to get autocomplete on this, but let's see if I can't find it. Utils. Let's restart it. Mongo.collection of Mongo friendship. It doesn't like that. Friendship. Call this friendships. Is that what we call it? Yeah. Go. Dot. Oh, I don't have Mongo yet. That's the issue. Import Mongo from Zach livestream backend Mongo. There it is. Okay. Still doesn't like these imports. File is not under root expected. I think somehow I marked this as publishable, as complaining that, yeah, it expects, I don't know. I have to figure out what that is about. It wouldn't expect it to do this. I didn't mark anything differently when I generated it. It's letting things through. I think it's just some, yeah, I don't know. But we've got our friendships, and we're going to want to find, we're going to make some sort of query here. I'm not sure. We're going to want to have like some OR. Let's Google Mongo quickly. Mongo filter OR. Bring this up over here. We'll just want to do like ORs. Yeah. So I'll need to, like an AND on the outside to say that the, oops. If we look at this Mongo friendship, I'll need to make sure we're accepted beforehand. So let's do $and. This must take an array. So we want for one part of our AND to be accepted is true. We want the other piece to be an OR, which will take requestee is our user.id. The other one is going to be the requested, or the requester, is our user.id. All right, so this will give us all of our friendships. So let's say const friendships is equal to this. Well, let's await it. This will need to be async. Sync. So this will give us all of our friendships. Or all of our accepted friendships. Let's write that. Accepted friendships. And we're going to want to say accepted friendships dot, so we'll map these because we want to, so let's say const friends. This will actually be friend IDs, right? Yeah, this will be friend IDs. Where we have accepted friendships and we map that so that our friendship we'll want to say, maybe we can do this in a ternary. Let's see if we can be brave. So let's say friendship dot requestee dot to hex string is equal to our user.id to hex string. If that's true, let's put that question mark on this line. If this is true, we want to return the friendship.requestor. Otherwise, we'll return the friendship.requestee. All right. So our friend IDs is now, oh, it's a cursor. That's not right. Let's see. Oh, I need a to array here. To array. All right. So now this should be an array of our Mongo friendships. I'm making friends, Lars. Speaking of which, nice to see you. So I have, yeah, over here on my side here, I'm making all my fake friends. So here's my fake friend right here, this test friend. And here's this is an imaginary person I made that's not my friend. So that's where we're at. I'm working on this middleware right now, Lars, to attach our friends to the request context. So I have this query here that's getting all of our accepted friendships. There's a whole thing. You missed it, but this is like the stuff we're storing in the database. There's a collection called friendships that's going to store this. And I believe this query will give us all the friendships that are accepted and that the user is a part of. This line right here should give us all of our friend IDs. And then I think we're just going to want to do one more query here, constant friends equals await mongo dot collection, and this is a collection of Mongo users dot find, and here we're just going to take an or, which is going to be our friend IDs dot map. So take our friend ID and map this to an object that looks like ID is equal to that friend ID. I think there's probably a better way to do this in one query. Let's do to array. Oh yeah, an hour 27. I'm going over today, unfortunately, but that's okay. I think it's okay. I hope it's okay. Yeah. So I got my friends here. This is an array of users here. Pretty much, I really don't want that password on there. But I do want to wrap this up quick, so I'm not going to do that now. So we have our friends, and now we're just going to set request.friends equals friends, and then we'll call our next. I think that's all we need to attach our friends here. Lars, are you good at Mongo queries? I imagine there's a way I can do all of this in a query rather than taking this like step in between. But yeah, we'll put you on the spot with that. I imagine even if you did know, it would be really difficult. But yeah, now let me just go to the Git friends. Let's see if we can get this working before we head out. So we're just going to have this. We're going to assume our friends are already on the request. So we're going to say rec.friends rec as any cost friends. Friends as, so this will be a Mongo user array. All right, and then we'll just say response.send. I think we just want to send friends, but I think we had a function here. Let's see, was that in auth-utils? I think it was in auth-utils. Let's see. Mongo user. Well, yeah. Let's mark this here, friends. We'll just map it real quick. Friend to be an ID is equal to our friend dot underscore ID dot to hex string, and our name is going to be friend dot name. I think that's correct. So I guess our Git friends. If we go to the router now, we'll want to use that Git friends handler, but we'll also want to stick in before here. We'll just want to do attach friends, like so. I think that's right. Let's try running that. If this falls on its face, it falls on its face. We're going to have to end this eventually. So we'll run it. Oh, close to zero knowledge on Mongo. No worries, man. I'm Googling all the time with Mongo stuff still. I think this logic I put forward makes sense, but I know there's probably a better way to do like some sort of pipeline type of query to do that. I spent like the first part of my career learning all the SQL stuff to do that, and now I'm in Mongo and none of it matters anymore. Okay, so should be started up. Let's see if I can hit localhost. Let's just see. Let's move this over here. And let's inspect. Oops. Oh, we're going to want to do one more thing. Shoot, this might break things. We're going to want to do a couple more things, actually. Let's try to get it done real quick. App, component. We're logged in. Assuming we're logged in. If we're logged in. Okay. Let's put the friend list just down below. Let's call our circle friend list. That's going to show up as it's not here yet because we need to import the module still. So we're going to import our friend, probably a front end friend module. Let's see. Front end friend. Ugh. Was this a friends plural? Yeah, there we go. Front-end friends. And I think I didn't register my effects for this. So let me do that real quick. Effects module dot for feature. We'll bring in our friend. What do we call it? User effects. Go. And just gonna add a provider here real quick for the auth, or not the auth service, the, what do I call this? The friend service. Go, okay, I think that gives us everything we need. Or maybe we just broke things horribly. Let's see. What is it complaining about? Async pipe could not be found in app component. That's odd. Async pipe could not be found. Let's just try restarting. Maybe it's something I did and mess that all up. All right, see you, Lars. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good time, man. Alrighty, let's see if we can get this. Oh yeah, okay. So I'm just going to log in with stuff here. Let's look at Redux. If we can just see this work on Redux, that'll be good enough and we can end things. Log in, we submitted. The log in succeeded. Content posts, init. I think we can probably actually get rid of this action. This action generally doesn't give us much. Maybe, I don't know. But this one failed. Let's see. See what happened. Oh, API friends is not found. That makes sense. I think I just didn't add it to the main for here. Yeah. So we're going to router use friends. Put in our friend router. Import router as friend router from Zach stream backend friends. Did I not export this? I probably didn't. Let's go back here to our backend friends. And inside the index, we're going to export. I want to export everything from the router, and I want to export everything from the attached friends, because I think we'll want to use this middleware down the road. Going back to main now. Main. That works. Let's see. Let's try this again. Log out and log back in. Zach. Password is password. Go. Still getting a 404 for not found. Friends. API/friends. The router. Let's see. The friend router. We'll get that. Read property ID of undefined. What's this complaining about? Zero access tokens. let's see. Let's go into our good friends. Let's just console log here. Console log. In get friends. Console log here are just our friends. Let's try that. Listening. Log out. Password. Oh, 504. That's better. What happened? Did we get to there? Let me try getting rid of some of this other logging. Let's see. So I think this is like the headers coming in somewhere. I think we did that inside of auth. Let's get rid of those. Authorize. Yeah. Let's get rid of some of these extra console logs. Eventually we'll probably want to do some better logging here, but right now things are just kind of cluttered. Let's get rid of all this junk. There we go. Oh, and yeah, we definitely, I think this may be the issue too. We definitely need to, inside of our main, use the middleware for that router. Yeah. So here, yeah, let's use authorize here. That would do it. I expect that's the problem we're seeing. All right, let's try it now. Let's log out. We'll say Zach, password, unauthorized. Unauthorized, interesting. Oh, I wonder if that almost like fired too quick. Like, if we check the network tab, here's our friends. Response is unauthenticated, but I think, yeah, we have to like wait for the effect to run. I wonder if we can actually just fix that by switching the order. I think we might be able to. It's kind of silly. But if we look at the auth front-end auth module, the effects here. So well, hang on. Where are we setting the let's look at service. Let's see where we're setting the access token. Find all references. Alright, so we should be setting the access token as soon as it comes through the post. Somehow that's not happening in time for, so I think what's happening is by the time our effect, if we look at our effects, by the time our effect dispatches this login succeeded, I think like it should have tapped, I would think, to set that access token. Should be there by the time this action gets dispatched and we do stuff with it. But I'm not seeing that in practice. So I should see on here, this login came in. Well, I'm getting content posts just fine. This is the authorization on the content post. I wonder why the friends isn't getting that. Is it something I did with the interceptor? Let's see. Set auth interceptor, anything that starts with /API. Set authorization. This starts with API, doesn't it? Attach friends. Wonder if I need to import that directly here in order to make that work. I wouldn't think so. Let's try it though. Let's go to our friends module. Where am I right now? I'm completely lost. Libs. I want to go to front end. Friends. Front end auth. Front end friends. If I did this here, well, let's. I don't think we did it in content posts. Did we do it in content posts? No, we don't have the. We're not importing the auth module here. I believe it's only happening at like the on the API. It's in the web client. Inside of here, I have the front end auth module. So this interceptor should be set here, and let me bring this down to the bottom. If I look at my friend service, oh, silly. I think that was it. Let's see. There we go. Zach, password. Yes, wait, no. Pending. Well, unless we did get rejected right away. But this probably means there's something wrong with something I did. So actually the environment we're on now, so this is my authorization thing. So I should have gotten further. Let's see. Must be a non-empty array. Yeah, that's probably where it's happening. Does it say what line that's happening on of my stuff? No. Completed successfully. Let's see. So I think let's look at the middleware. Let's look at the middleware we made. What is this called? Attach friends. So we'll say, let's just do it like this. We'll say if friend IDs, if this has some length, then we'll do this. Like so. Otherwise, we'll say quest.friends equals an empty array. Well, let's use that other syntax so we don't get through it squigglies. It's an empty array. There you go. Let's try that. Let's go to edge case to catch. So, hey, there we go. Response is an empty array. All right, we did it. I'm going to say that's a win for now. Tomorrow we'll check it out. We had this all set up where we're seeing our database and stuff in Cypress. So we should be able to like run this test in Cypress now with this stuff all set and see if it's working. We'll do that tomorrow. I think things are working now. We'll just mess around with this test. We could probably figure out the stuff I couldn't figure out on stream with the spec file, our app spec. Figure out how to make sure something doesn't have a certain text context. So thanks y'all for coming. Brandon, I think you and Lars are doing like a show tomorrow. I'm hoping I'll be able to catch it. It's super early for me here on the West Coast, but I'll do my best to catch it. So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, I'll catch everyone here on ZLS 12 tomorrow. Catch y'all later. Bye now.